What's going on, Fortnite fam? There have been some pretty big changes to the loot pool ahead of FNCS over the last couple of weeks, so let's go ahead and break down how some of the top teams are utilizing these changes. For the majority of the season so far, the most common loadout for duos has been both players running the Stinger SMG, Spider-Man's web shooters, double heals with 88% of players carrying mini shields, then we'll have one player carry the MK7 and the other carry a shotgun. I've also seen a shift in the most commonly used weapons from season to season, where the Stinger SMG currently accounts for 33% of all eliminations, dethroning the shotguns from previous seasons. The return of the heavy shotgun has also brought a fresh, unique take on a classic weapon in Fortnite, but it also has more teams running double shotgun. It actually plays like a blend between the hand cannon and the charged shotgun. Rather than having a multi-pellet system, it just shoots one single slug. This means that if you hit that shot, you're always going to be hitting the maximum damage for a body shot, or 1.7 times that damage for a headshot. However, if you miss, it definitely is less forgiving than the previous iterations of shotguns. However, ADSing will give you that 100% accuracy, similar to the hand cannon. For example, Agers finds himself in an endgame creating a solid 2x1 box, then opens up a wall and sits kind of deep into that box, holding the ADS, waiting for someone to walk past. Sure enough, the unfortunate fabled Taco finds himself falling victim into the trap and is an easy elimination for Agers. Since it takes time to aim down the sights, you really have to set traps for your opponents to walk through in a defensive manner, in a very similar fashion to the way that great charged shotgun players would utilize this in previous seasons. Another strength of the heavy shotgun is its range. A well-aimed headshot at 5 tiles away can still deal a whopping 120 damage with the gold variant, which has a ton of utility on height. In this situation, you can see Pamstu take control of the high ground and get to the front side of the moving zones. In a similar scenario to Agers in the previous example, he holds the ADS and patiently waits for players at the back side of the zone to walk into his crosshair, picking up an easy elimination. Managing your medium and small ammo on height is one of the pillars of winning games from high ground, and the addition of the heavy shotgun is another tool to damage the players down below without draining these supplies. Lastly, we've got to talk about the hip-fire potential of the shotgun as well. Some people may think that the ADSing is 100% required because there is a little bit of RNG on where that one pellet is going to go within the crosshair, but as you can see, Transigs are just putting in damage left, right and center without even needing to ADS on the opponent. This is most effectively done by basically placing the shotgun as close as you can to the opponent and kind of barrel stuffing them a little bit, so that single pellet has the smallest chance to miss at those close ranges. At the mid ranges, it's still a little bit more likely to miss, so you're probably going to have to ADS in there, but when you're in close range, it's absolutely not required to ADS. Every season, you'll see Transigs ahead of the curve when it comes to shotgun metas, and this season is absolutely no different. Another big change recently has to do with the Mythic Spider-Man's web shooters. While they have been in the game for a long time, we've now seen a big change to their availability in competitive with the charges. At season launch and in public matches, you had 80 charges to use and swing around, grab items and more. Now you only have 20. This means you have to be much more cautious on how you use these. For maximum efficiency, it's better to avoid using these in the early and mid game. For example, in this solo cash cup, Queasy finds himself with 16 uses going into endgame. If we skip backwards, we can see where these 4 uses went. The first was escaping a player in the early game who had the loot advantage over him, and the remaining 3 were used to swing himself into a completely max distance 5th zone, ensuring to land on a high layer so he doesn't get blocked when using these in the moving zones. 10 charges are about the minimum I'd recommend for endgame, so the 16 that Queasy has here is plenty. The rotations are pretty simple from here on out. He waits for the zone to catch up and web slings his way to the front side of zone and repeats. Notice that since he's on a high layer, he attaches himself to builds down below, then jumps in the air to propel himself from the backside of the zone to the front. When he's on a lower layer, he'll aim for the ceilings instead of using this kind of double jump method. This process of waiting for the zone to catch up and then getting ahead of the zone nets him an opportunity to take a free height in the first moving zone. Now from here on out, once he's claimed the high ground, he just repeats this process of waiting for the zone to catch up, flying to the front side of the zone, saving materials and ultimately surviving through to the endgame, scoring himself a 3rd place finish in this match.
We also have to talk about the addition of the armored walls. We saw them come into the game in Chapter 2 Season 8, but it wasn't until this season that they made their way into competitive. However, they can only be found in stacks of 2 rather than the larger stacks in public games. Now when you use these items, they give you a boosted health on an existing wall. This protects you from players pressuring your box when you become the focus of the lobby. In this endgame, Aqua and Stompy start to get focused from low ground, and rather than letting their materials dwindle away, they instantly place an armored wall on their floor, stopping low ground from focusing them. Since the wall has so much HP, players in the low ground won't have sufficient ammo to waste spraying. In this zone transition, Seti is out of hard material and is left only with wood, which in the in-game scenario is a telltale sign that you're an easy target. Seti preemptively places an armored wall on his roof to avoid height teams from being extra aggressive. Another great way to use the armored walls is tarping on the dead side of the moving zone. Malabuka here starts to get sprayed and instantly places an armored wall to prevent this spray. Since he's on the edge of a moving zone, he can't be shot from the other side, meaning that he's effectively covered 50% of the angles that he could be sprayed from, height being the only one remaining that could potentially take advantage. We can't wait to see you all swing your way into FNCS on February 18th. Until next time, Fortnite fam, we'll see you on the battle bus. Beep beep!